Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Speak English with Max and Anna. This is your cozy place to talk about real-life topics and learn useful vocabulary. Enjoy learning English without any stress. I'm Max.
And I'm Anna. Max, today's topic is a bit unusual. Can I ask you something first?
Haha. Judging by your tone, this is one of those questions. It sounds simple, but changes the whole conversation. Go ahead.
What do you think is the most important relationship in your life?
Easy. My family. My close people. And, of course, my loyal friends.
Great answer. But what if I told you there's a relationship that's even more important?
Really? Which one is that?
The relationship you build with yourself.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Honestly, I never thought you could have a relationship with yourself.
But it's the one person you spend every single day of your life with. You wake up with yourself and fall asleep with yourself. You hear your own thoughts more than anyone else's voice.
Spot on. You definitely can't take a vacation from your own brain.
Exactly. We spend so much time learning to be a good friend or a good partner, but nobody teaches us how to be a good friend to ourselves. That's exactly what we're talking about today. And don't worry, this episode is B1, B2 level. Just relax and enjoy it. Maybe you're having coffee, driving to work, or walking in the park. Max, how many conversations do you think you have in your head every day?
Well, besides talking to other people, probably hundreds?
Psychologists say we have thousands of thoughts every day. Most of them are basically talking to ourselves. So the real question is, what exactly are you telling yourself?
Sometimes I praise myself, and sometimes I really don't.
Imagine a normal situation. You make a small mistake at work. What's your very first thought?
Honestly? How could you be so stupid? You should have known better.
Now imagine your best friend made exactly the same mistake. What would you say to him?
I'd say, don't worry about it. Everyone makes mistakes. You'll do better next time.
Interesting, right? You're patient with your friend, but harsh and merciless with yourself. Would you want to spend time with someone like that? Someone who kept telling you, you're useless, you'll never get this right.
I'd run for the hills. That would be exhausting.
But often, that's exactly how we treat ourselves.
So, Anna, how do we actually build this kind of self-respect? Is it one big decision?
Not at all. It's hundreds of tiny daily decisions. And one of the most important ones is keeping the promises you make to yourself.
Oh, that's actually a pretty deep thought.
Imagine a friend who promises to meet you every Saturday, but he keeps canceling at the last minute. Would you still trust them?
Probably not. I'd start doubting their word.
Now think about promises you've made to yourself. Things like, I'll start reading in English on Monday, or I'll go to bed earlier, or maybe I'll start going to the gym. Every time we break those promises, we lose a little trust in ourselves.
Now you've hit the nail on the head. So, how do we get that trust back?
You start small. Don't promise yourself 3 hours of English every day. Promise yourself 10 minutes, and actually do it. Small steps, but consistent ones. Every kept promise is a deposit in your self-respect bank.
You know, I think there's another problem too. It's really hard to forgive ourselves for past mistakes.
Absolutely. We remember our own mistakes much more clearly than anyone else does.
That's so true. I can still remember some awkward thing I said at a presentation 3 years ago.
And trust me, everyone else has already forgotten it. We often confuse the mistake with our whole identity. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, we say, I am a failure.
That's a huge difference. One describes what happened. The other is a label you stick on yourself.
Exactly. Remember this. Your mistakes are just chapters in your story. They're not the title of the whole book. When a child learns to walk and falls, parents don't give up on them. They don't say, walking just isn't for you. They encourage the child instead. So why do we treat ourselves so differently?
From now on, when I make a mistake, I'll try something different. Instead of asking, why am I so clumsy? I'll ask, what can this teach me?
I love that approach. One question creates shame. The other creates growth.
Anna, this episode is great, but I can't wait for our favorite segment.
I knew you'd say that. Let's move on to some useful English vocabulary our listeners can use.
Yes, let's break down the words that helped us explore today's topic. Our first word is self-talk.
Right. Self-talk is the inner conversation you have with yourself. It can be negative or it can be supportive.
Our second word is self-respect.
As we found out today, that's not something you're born with. It's something you build every day through kept promises and self-care.
And our final word is compassion, meaning kindness and understanding. In our context, we mean self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness during failure.
Here's one question to think about today. Imagine spending a whole day with yourself as another person. Would you actually enjoy their company?
If your answer is yes, that's wonderful. And if it's no, don't worry. You can always improve that relationship. Start with one kind word to yourself and one small promise you actually keep.
By the way, next episode, we're talking about hope in small, everyday moments.
That sounds like exactly what we need after such a deep topic.
This has been Max.
And Anna. Subscribe to Speak English with Max and Anna and hit like. Tell us in the comments how you support yourself while learning.
Keep learning, keep growing, and remember, your English goal is closer than you think. See you in the next episode.